Okay, so I have a question. Is he overrated or is he a superstar? That's the question. I'm going to give you the stats breakdown, okay, since 2016 up to this year, okay? And then you let me know what you think, whether he's a superstar or whether he's a bit overrated or overhyped, I should say. Um, because I think there's similarities between the two, but I think there's a little bit difference between overrated and overhyped as well. So, but obviously they're linked together because hype comes with the territory, hype comes with early performance, but then it can turn into overrated and so on. But let's go over the stats here. Okay, 2016, and by the way, I'm talking about Aaron Judge for the Yankees. Okay, as you can see. 2016 he came up, and obviously him and Tyler Wade, Tyler Austin hit home runs in their first at-bats, which was pretty cool. They went back-to-back. That was really cool. And he hit a majestic home run over the center field wall. I remember that. I'll never forget it. But that year he had 84 bats, 4 homers, 10 RBIs, 42 strikeouts. And he batted 179 and in 27 games. Now, obviously a small cup of coffee, but, you know, it is what it is. Those are the stats. Okay? Move on over to 2017. That was when he had his first full season. That was his rookie season. And this is one of the greatest rookie seasons in history. 155 games, 52 home runs, 114 RBIs, 208 strikeouts, which is still to this day a major league record, and a 284 batting average. In the postseason, 48 at-bats, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 27 strikeouts, and a 188 batting average. Okay, it's 2017. Let's move to 2018 now. Regular season, 27 home runs, 67 ribbies, 152 strikeouts, and a 278 batting average in 112 games. Postseason, he had his best postseason in 2018. 19 at-bats, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, only 3 strikeouts, and a 421 batting average. So that was when he was his best clutch postseason performance in his career. 2019, 27 homers, 55 RBIs, 141 strikeouts, 272 average, and 102 games. Postseason, 34 at-bats, 1 homer, 2 ribbies, 11 strikeouts, and a 265 batting average. 2020, obviously in the shortened season, 9 home runs, 22 RBIs, 32 strikeouts, 257 batting average, played 28 games. And the postseason, 30 at-bats, 3 homers, 5 RBIs, 10 strikeouts, and a 133 batting average. Okay, and this year so far, 99 games, 278 batting average, 23 home runs, 53 RBIs. The only person on the team that has more RBIs than him is Stanton, and 111 strikeouts. So, are those the stats of a superstar? Are those the stats of a solid player? What are your thoughts there? But these are the exact numbers, right, from his stats. Okay, obviously he's an imposing player. I haven't mentioned it, that he's an absolute elite defender in the outfield. He's got a cannon for an arm. Okay, so that's another intangible. He's loved in the clubhouse. Okay, well respected. He's pretty much the face of the team. He's not a vocal leader, but he's the face of the team. And one of the problems is this team doesn't really have a vocal leader, at least that we know of right now. So. And I think it should have one, personally, but that's just my opinion. But, some of the things that, I haven't mentioned, he leaves way too many runners in scoring position. He has trouble with off-speed pitches and trouble against the better pitchers in the game, especially with nasty stuff. He he strikes out a lot on those guys, against those guys. And he's still a sporadic performer in the clutch. He's had his clutch moments, and he's had his dud moments. So it's indicative of a lot of the other players on the Yankee team, which is why, I wanted to bring up the stats just so you can see a pattern of consistency, okay? Here's some of the consistent things, when he's healthy, he's mostly productive. But look at his games, okay? His first full season, 155 games, that's a full season, obviously. And then 2017, 2018, 112 games, 2019, 102 games. Last year, 28 games. So he missed 50 games in 2018. He missed 60 games in 2019. And then last year, he didn't even play half the games in a 60-game season. So he has, and he's played 99 games, so he's played the majority of the games this season. So, luckily, thankfully, he's been healthy, and but staying healthy is an issue for him. Okay, but again, he's productive for the most part when he's healthy. But there's a lot of Joey Gallo similarities here, right? Lots of home runs, boatloads of strikeouts. So, similarity, right? Similarity to Stanton too. Lots of home runs, boatloads of strikeouts. Okay. One of the issues that I have is that sporadic performance in the clutch, especially now. I mean, like I said, it's indicative of a lot of other players on this team, and right now this lineup, even though they're winning, doesn't seem to be gelling as much as it could be gelling. And obviously there are guys out, so it makes it difficult to do that. But I haven't seen, I can't even think of, aside from a clutch home run. And breaking the record, a Judge moment. Like, I don't vividly remember, like I remember Scott Brocious moment, his 2 home runs against San Diego, his home run off Kim in the World Series at Yankee Stadium, like the David Justice moment in Game 6 of the 2000 ALCS against the Seattle Mariners that helped put him in the World Series against the Mets, like the Tino Martinez Grand Slam off Mark Langston, like those are just ice in your veins, money moments. Okay, and I haven't seen that yet from Judge. Again, some big hits, some big home runs, yes. Okay, but I would personally stop a little bit short of calling him a superstar. But that's just my opinion, and I think he's overhyped a little bit more than he might be overrated because the performance is still there. But I think that 1 year in 2017, obviously, elevated expectations for some to ridiculous levels. Just like I think expectations for Gerrit Cole when he came here. A lot of folks expect him to strike out 300 guys every year and win 20 games every year. Like, it's not that easy to do. There's only a few players in baseball with multiple 300 strikeout seasons, and both of them are in the Hall of Fame, right? Randy Johnson and Nolan Ryan. Gerrit Cole's he's still in the prime of his career, so that's what I mean. Like, I think expectations may have gotten a little bit nuts, just like expectations for Giancarlo Stanton got a little bit nuts after his 59 home run season. A lot of folks are saying, oh, this guy can hit 50 every year now. It's not that easy, okay? It's not. He hasn't hit 50 since. Judge hasn't hit 50 since. How many guys do we know hit 50? Not that many. So that's what I mean. The strikeouts are the most concerning for me, and the strikeouts with guys on base is the most concerning thing for me with Aaron Judge. But he's had some clutch hits recently, some not singles and things like that necessarily, but they don't have to be home runs. But these are the types of things that make me hesitant to call him a superstar. Yes, he gives a lot of merch to the Yankees. He's got the Judge's team. He's very popular. He's also an imposing figure. He's a huge man, and his home runs tend to be 1,000 feet, just like Giancarlo Stanton's 1,000 feet home runs. So it's majestic to watch, right? Him hit home runs and things like that. But there are other things that are left to be desired, in my opinion. So, and to me, it leaves the Yankees with essentially 3 choices, right? Number 1, you keep him and you sign him to an extension. But what kind of, and I've talked about this with other folks, and people have made comments, what kind of extension would you give the guy? I would not give him $200 million at 31, approaching 32 years old. Okay, when he's eventually going to have to become a DH, and he's going to be blocked. We still have Giancarlo Stanton for like another 5 years. Okay, so that concerns me. And if he keeps getting hurt, or if he gets hurt every other year or something like that, and he's going to get 25 or 30 million a year from somebody. Does it have to be the Yankees? I don't know. So that's option 1. Number 2, you let him. You offer him a qualifying offer next year, which will be, $18, $20 million. But somebody's going to sign him for a boatload of money, a contender. And then you let him walk to another team, and then you get a draft pick for him. And option 3, you trade him. I thought the Yankees should have entertained offers for him at the trade deadline. I don't know that they did or not. I doubt they did. But I think it would have been wise to entertain offers because they could have gotten probably a nice haul back for him. And if he stays healthy this year and he still has a good year, I mean, he's on pace for 35, 40 home runs and maybe close to 100 RBIs, okay, or 80, 90, whatever. some team will pay quite a few players for him this offseason. So that's the other option. Those are essentially the three options. Now, what option would you do? I would consider a trade if I were GM. I would consider all three options, obviously, and the most appealing one is the most appealing one, but at the same time, I don't want to lock him up for the big money and prevent the team from addressing the bigger need, which is starting pitching, okay? And they need more depth in starting pitching. There's just way too many injuries that the Yankees have. And the other thing bringing him back to the lineup is, and I've said this recently, is the lineup has not, and he's part of it, they have made it more difficult for the pitchers and put them in high leverage situations more than they need to be, starters and relievers, because the offense is coming up short so many times, striking out so many times, leaving like 20 guys on base almost every game. So it puts a lot more stress on the pitchers. And like I said recently, elite bullpens get tired too. Okay, and that's why I'm a big fan of if you're going to bring Severino back, you put him in the bullpen this September and October, or whenever, the rest of the season, and let him build his way back to the rotation in 2022. Let it be gradual with him. He'd be more valuable, in my opinion, long relief this season than he would be a starter. And I would, if they made him a starter, fine, but I hope that he wouldn't get hurt. But that's what I mean. He's indicative of a lot of the rest of the lineup. And again, like I said, the lineup hasn't had the opportunity to really gel yet because we haven't had Voit and Rizzo and Gallo and Torres, all these guys in the lineup at the same time. We need to see what they can do all together, and Sanchez and the rest of them. Like, we need to see what they can do together. But at the same time, to me, superstars, Fernando Tatis, Vlad Guerrero Jr., guys like that, and I know they're younger and stuff, but even guys, quiet superstars like Joey Gallo, okay? Joey Gallo. Joey Votto, excuse me. I like Gallo, but Joey Votto, okay? He's quietly building up a Hall of Fame resume. If you look at his stats, and older superstars, he's no longer a superstar, but Miguel Cabrera, but you have Bryce Harper quietly having an MVP season. He's another one. It's guys like that, and I'm not saying Aaron Judge is nowhere near these guys because his talent level is there, but we need to see more. I need to see more consistency from him, some more, coming through in pressure situations, and it's not to say he's not he's having a pretty solid year, okay, and again, he's on pace for probably 35 to 40 and close to 100 RBIs, so that's a good year. And a 275, 280 batting average. That's a good year. I would take that every year. But at the same, is this where we're at now, where that type of production gets you $250 million? Like, I don't know. And in the Yankee situation, they're going to be locked up into a lot of long-term contracts. And, if he were 26, 27, different story. But at 31, I don't know. Yankees have had too many questionable contract signings at 31 that were long-term that turned out to be just onerous the last couple of years. And I don't want that to happen with Aaron Judge. I just don't. I like him. People love him, and I get it. And but those are the stats. So digest those numbers. Watch this again. Look at the numbers. Write them down. Or just take a look at his player profile. You'll see the numbers that I mentioned are right from his stats. Okay, and to me, they're a very good player. Very good player. And obviously from the Yankees, the Yankees want premium names, and he is a premium name, and he comes up ranked amongst the top 10 or 15 players in baseball every year. Because he does. I mean, he's still a very good player. But I don't have him in the top 5, personally. Top 10, probably, but top 5, no. In my opinion. So you let me know what you think. Overhyped, I think, is more than, to me, he's more overhyped than overrated. And I have him just below a superstar. That's where I have Aaron Judge. But if you were GM, what would you do with him? Okay? And tell me exactly what you do. If you would trade him, what would you want back? if anybody offers him a qualifying offer, I'd be surprised. But if you re-signed him next year, what would you give him? What kind of contract do you think would be worthy of an Aaron Judge extension? Okay, or not even extension, because they'd have to do it before his contract runs up. He's a free agent after next season, so what contract do you think would be ideal for him? You let me know, guys.